Right then, Forest faithful. Something massive is happening at the City Ground, and I mean absolutely massive. You think you know what's been going on with our beloved Reds, but trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. We've got 5 bombshells dropping today that will change everything you thought you knew about this season. 5 stories that prove we're not just surviving in the Premier League anymore. We're bloody well thriving, and the football world is starting to take serious notice. First up, 2 of our lads have just achieved something that'll have you jumping off your settee. Recognition at our highest level, standing shoulder to shoulder with the very best the Premier League has to offer. I'm talking about individual brilliance. That's been rewarded in the most prestigious way possible. Then, there's a midfielder who's been making headlines across Europe, a Brazilian who knows the Premier League inside out. And guess what? He's been having direct talks with our owner, Marinakis himself. The negotiations have reached levels that'll blow your mind. But that's not all, Forest fans. We've also secured a striker, a French international who's been lighting up League One. Someone who knows how to find the back of the net when it matters most. The kind of signing that screams European ambition. And speaking of ambition, one deal that was rumored for months has just become reality. 30 million euros worth of reality. The kind of statement that says we're here to compete with anyone and everyone. Finally, there's drama involving a certain Sky Sports pundit who has some very interesting things to say about us. Things that'll make you question everything about how the media really sees Nottingham Forest. Now, before I reveal who these players are and what's really been happening behind the scenes, I need to know something from you lot. Are you ready for this level of ambition? Because what's coming next is going to test everything you think you know about where this club is heading. Hit that like button right now if you're buzzing for these revelations, and drop a comment telling me what's the one signing you'd make to guarantee European football again next season. Because the first revelation is about recognition that's been 30 years in the making. Individual brilliance that proves we belong at this level. And when you hear which 2 Forest stars have just been named alongside Mohamed Salah and Alexander Isak, you'll understand why the rest of the Premier League is starting to fear the return of Nottingham Forest. 2 of our own have just achieved something that sends shivers down every rival fan's spine. Recognition at the very pinnacle of English football. These lads have been performing at such an extraordinary level that they can't be ignored anymore. I'm talking about Chris Wood and Matt Sells Newcastle, and they've just been named in the PFA Premier League Team of the Year for 2024-25. Let that sink in for a moment, Forest fans. Our striker and our goalkeeper standing alongside the likes of Mohamed Salah, Alexander Isak, Declan Rice, and Virgil van Dijk. This isn't just recognition, this is validation. Validation that what we witnessed last season wasn't a fluke, wasn't luck, wasn't some miraculous overperformance. It was genuine quality rising to the surface when it mattered most. Chris Wood's inclusion speaks volumes about his transformation at the City Ground. Remember when some questioned whether he could step up for a club with European ambitions? 24 goals across all competitions later, and he's rubbing shoulders with the Premier League's elite strikers. His work rate, his finishing, his leadership in the final third, it's been absolutely phenomenal. The fact that he made his debut in this prestigious aim at the age of 33 proves that experience and determination can triumph over youth and pace. Wood has shown every young striker in the league what professionalism and consistency look like. When Forest needed goals in crucial moments, he delivered. When the pressure mounted, he stood firm. And then there's Matt Sells, our Belgian shot stopper, has been an absolute revelation since arriving from Strasbourg. The saves he's made, the confidence he's brought to our defense, the way he organizes the lads at the back, it's been masterful. His inclusion in this team proves that goalkeeping excellence isn't just about playing for the traditional Big Six. Think about this for a second. Cole Palmer and Bruno Fernandes were nominated for PFA Players Player of the Year, yet neither made it into this echelon. But our Chris Wood did, our Matt Sells did. That tells you everything about the standards these two have set. This recognition also reflects something bigger about our entire squad. When your striker and goalkeeper are being named among the league's finest, it means the foundation is solid and the attacking threat is real. It means opponents can't just focus on stopping one player. They have to worry about our entire system. For Sells, this marks his debut in a Premier League Team of the Year. For Wood, it's the culmination of years of grafting in the top flight. Both thoroughly deserved, both absolutely crucial to everything we achieved last season. But here's what this really means for the upcoming campaign. Teams will be taking us even more seriously now. The element of surprise that served us so well, that's diminishing. Everyone knows we have quality now. Everyone knows we can compete. The question is, can we handle that pressure? Can we build on this recognition and push for even greater heights? Because if our goalkeeper and striker are already performing at Team of the Year level, imagine what they could achieve with even better players around them. What do you think, Forest fans? Does this recognition prove we're ready to challenge for Champions League football again? Drop your thoughts below, because the next story involves a midfielder who could be the missing piece of that puzzle. And trust me, when you hear the latest on these negotiations, you'll understand why some of the biggest clubs in Europe are starting to worry about our ambitions. Now, this is where things get absolutely spicy. Forest faithful, we're talking about a midfielder who's been on the radar of Europe's elite, a Brazilian international who knows the Premier League like the back of his hand. Someone whose signing would send shockwaves through the entire football pyramid. I'm talking about Douglas Luiz. And the latest reports suggest we're closer than ever to pulling off what could be the signing of the summer. Fabrizio Romano himself has confirmed that Juventus and Nottingham Forest are finalizing the details of a deal that could reshape our entire midfield. Let's break down just how massive this potential signing really is. We're talking about a player who moved to Juventus for 50 million euros just last summer. A midfielder who was instrumental in Aston Villa's rise to Champions League qualification. Someone who's represented Brazil at the highest level and knows exactly what it takes to succeed in English football. The negotiations have reached such an advanced stage that our owner Evangelos Marinakis has been having direct contact with Juventus general manager Damian Comoli. When you've got owners talking directly to each other, you know this isn't just agent talk or media speculation. This is serious business. Here's what makes this deal even more intriguing. Douglas Luiz actually wants this move. Reports suggest he agreed to personal terms with us last week, which is as clear a sign as you'll get that he sees his future at the City ground. This isn't a player being forced out. This is someone actively choosing Nottingham Forest over other potential destinations. Think about what that says about our project. A Brazilian international, someone who could probably get offers from multiple Champions League clubs, is choosing us. He's choosing our vision, our ambition, our pathway forward. That's the kind of validation money simply cannot buy. The financial details are staggering too. We're talking about a fee of around 30 million euros. That's roughly 26 million pounds. For a player of Douglas Luiz's caliber in today's market, that represents incredible value. His experience in English football alone is worth its weight in gold. But here's where it gets tactically fascinating. Luiz brings exactly the kind of progressive passing and defensive solidity that could take our midfield to the next level. His ability to break up play, distribute under pressure, and contribute goals from deep positions would complement our existing system perfectly. Remember how crucial midfield control was during our European push last season? Now imagine having that with a player who's operated at the very highest level of club football. Someone who's played alongside the likes of Jack Grealish, John McGinn, and other Premier League stars. The fact that Juventus are willing to let him go after just one season also tells a story. Sometimes the Italian style doesn't suit Premier League players and vice versa. Douglas Luiz is clearly someone who thrives in the intensity and pace of English football. His return to the Premier League feels like a natural fit. What's particularly encouraging is how quickly these negotiations have progressed. When Romano says a deal is almost done and clubs are finalizing small details, you know we're past the point of casual interest. This is advanced stuff, with medical examinations potentially happening within days. For our squad building, this signing would represent another statement of intent. After securing Calimuendo and other quality additions, bringing in someone of Douglas Luiz's pedigree would prove we're not just planning for survival, we're planning for sustained success. The question now becomes, how quickly can we get this over the line? Because every day he's not in a Forest shirt is another day our rivals have to potentially hijack this deal. What's your take, Forest fans? Is Douglas Luiz the missing piece that could take us back to European football? Let me know in the comments, because the next revelation involves another signing that's already been confirmed. And it's equally as exciting. While everyone's been talking about potential signings and rumored deals, we've already gone out and secured one of the most promising young strikers in European football. And when I tell you about his goal scoring record and his potential, you'll understand why this could be the signing that defines our entire season. Meet Arnaud Kalimwendo, Lang, our new French striker who's just arrived from Rennes for a fee that takes our summer spending close to £100 million. This isn't just any ordinary signing, Forest fans. This is a statement that screams Champions League ambition. Let's talk numbers first, because they're absolutely staggering. Kalimwendo was the third highest scorer in League One last season with 17 goals, despite playing for a Rennes side that was in complete turmoil, both on and off the pitch. Imagine what he could achieve in a stable, ambitious environment like ours. But his goal-scoring record tells only part of the story. This is a player who came through Paris Saint-Germain's academy, arguably the most prestigious youth system in world football. A player who was considered one of their brightest prospects before the sheer wealth of attacking talent at PSG made his pathway impossible. Think about that for a moment. He was competing with Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, Mauro Icardi, Angel Di Maria, and Lionel Messi for first-team opportunities. When you're not getting minutes ahead of that caliber of player, it's not a reflection of your ability. It's just reality of football's very highest level. His loan spells at Lens proved exactly what kind of talent we're dealing with. 19 goals across 2 seasons in League One, helping a newly promoted side achieve consecutive top 7 finishes. He was the highest scoring player under 21 in French football during that period. That's the kind of productivity that translates to Premier League success. What makes Kalimwendo particularly exciting for our system is his versatility. He's not just a penalty box poacher, he's someone who can drop deep, link play, create chances for others, and finish with both feet. The kind of modern striker who fits perfectly into Nuno Espirito Santo's tactical approach. His international pedigree speaks volumes too. 5 goals in 7 games at the 2019 Under-17 World Cup, finishing as the tournament's second highest scorer. 9 goals in 10 UEFA Youth League appearances for PSG, including a hat-trick against Real Madrid. This is someone who's always performed on the biggest stages. The fact that he was only 16 and 17 during those youth league campaigns makes his record even more impressive. He was competing against players up to 2 years older and still managing to be one of the competition's standout performers. Now let's address the elephant in the room, his struggles at Rennes in recent seasons. 7 goals in 30 league appearances during 2022-23 was disappointing, and his start to 2023-24 was equally challenging. But here's the crucial context. Rennes were a club in crisis during that period. The appointment of Julian Stéphan changed everything for Kalimwendo. 8 goals in his final 16 appearances under the new management showed glimpses of his true potential returning. Sometimes a player just needs the right environment and the right coaching to rediscover their best form. That's exactly what we can provide at Nottingham Forest. A stable club structure, a clear tactical identity, and a manager in Nuno who knows how to get the best out of attacking players. The kind of environment where Kalimwendo's natural talents can flourish without the pressure and instability he faced at Rennes. From a squad building perspective, his signing also provides crucial depth and competition for Chris Wood. Having 2 quality strikers allows us to rotate effectively during our European campaign while maintaining Premier League competitiveness. The financial investment also shows our commitment to sustained success. We're not just buying players for immediate impact, we're investing in someone who could be our main striker for the next 5 or 6 years. Do you think Kalimwendo can rediscover his best form at the City Ground? Can he be the striker to fire us back into European competition? Share your predictions below, because what I'm about to reveal next will shock you. One of our biggest summer targets has just been confirmed as complete. Right, Forest fans, remember that Douglas Luiz's deal I mentioned was almost done? Well, scratch that. It's not almost done anymore. It is done. Completely, utterly, officially done. And the details of this signing will blow your mind. Douglas Luiz Moyes is officially a Nottingham Forest player. 5-year contract signed, sealed, and delivered. 30 million euros transferred from our accounts to Juventus. The Brazilian midfielder who was playing Champions League football just months ago is now wearing our famous red shirt. Let me put this into perspective for you. We've just signed a player who cost Juventus 50 million euros, barely 13, months ago. A midfielder who's represented Brazil at international level. Someone who was instrumental in Aston Villa's qualification for the Champions League. And he's chosen us over every other potential destination. This isn't just a signing. This is a statement that reverberates across European football. When a player of Douglas Luiz's caliber chooses Nottingham Forest, it sends a message to every agent, every player, every rival club that we're not messing about anymore. The speed at which this deal was completed tells its own story. From advanced negotiations to signed contract in a matter of days. That's the kind of decisive action that separates ambitious clubs from pretenders. No lengthy negotiations, no games, no last-minute complications. Just pure professionalism. Getting the job done. What makes this signing even more significant is the circumstances of his departure from Juventus. Reports suggest he missed their preseason presentation without providing any justification. That's not the action of a player who's happy with his situation. That's someone who knows exactly where he wants to be. And it wasn't Turin. His motivation for this move goes beyond just regular football. Douglas Luiz has his sights set on returning to the Brazilian national team. He was previously called up under other managers but lost his place under Dorival Jr. and now faces the same challenge with Carlo Ancelotti in charge. The Premier League has always been the shop window for international recognition, and Douglas Luiz knows that better than anyone. His performances at Aston Villa earned him those Brazil call-ups in the first place. Now he's banking on recreating that form at the City ground to force his way back into some contention. From a tactical standpoint, his arrival transforms our midfield options completely. We're talking about a player who can dictate tempo, break up opposition attacks, contribute goals from deep positions, and provide the kind of Premier League experience that money simply cannot buy.